Everyone. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Always so happy to find you here. I do upload on Mondays and Thursdays. So when you click subscribe anytime while watching this video, you will be alerted when I have uploaded new content for your view, when you have your notifications turned on. When I have uploaded new content for your view, and of course, my pleasure. It's indeed my pleasure. Welcome to any new subscribers here. I am delighted and thrilled to have you here. I'm wearing my Peace Warrior t-shirt. I got my lion behind me. I'm a lion tamer. It's time to talk about this whole comedy crisis. I can't do it anymore. No, seriously. Kings of comedy, queens of comedy, the irking of the industry, and it's us against us. I can't do it anymore. So, I understand, and I've done several videos before. So when I say I can't do it anymore, I'm looking for peace is what I mean. A resolution is what I mean. I do strongly believe that we are in this age of truth. I believe that before I started my channel, which I named Sheri Lewis Speaks Truth. I understand that the truth that you think you thought you knew may not be the actual truth indeed. I get all those pieces. I understand why truth has always been so difficult to speak and to say and to convey. And this is why we tolerate ill behavior, even from our parents. Well, that's just mama. Hey, you ain't got but one mama. Everybody, excusifying it. The behavior is what I'm saying. But now truth is appearing. And it could be inconvenient. It could be undeniable. It could be hurtful. It could be elevating. But it always brings a sense of awareness. And we are now in this conversation that to me was elicited, was to set the match by Katt WIlliams. That here we are going into 2 months later, and everyone's appearing on different aspects of Shannon Sharpe or their own YouTube channel, still what I call combative. Comedy is in a combative mode right now. The reason I'm so getting bothered by it is that I am also, so let me qualify this correctly. I've always been a cosmopolitan type of person. I love everybody, good, bad, and indifferent. You ain't no better than nobody. Everybody gets an equal opportunity. That's why I'm good at my job. Everybody gets an equal opportunity. But over the past, I would say 5 years, I began to really recognize, embrace, understand better, get less of my own hopeful, wishful naivete out of the way, get hit with my own reality, that Blacks in America will always be treated to some degree differently. And that was very hurtful and very hard for me to take, because it shattered my interest of hope. Now, the hope didn't go, but it staved it a bit because I see the behavior. And I started looking at, why are we still the first even now? Why are we still the first but even now? So as we make this progress and we start battling against ourselves, it's counterproductive. If it's comedy, why isn't it all comedy? These are all Black comedians that are fighting. And while there is what I call liquidated lives, meaning, as far as I can remember, I didn't remember it that way, but I remember carefulizing the truth is what I'd say. I'm looking for when can we get to a place when an apology is enough. And when he was running for president, our now President Joe Biden, all of his past, you know how they go after you. And he was on a program where they talked about how he was one of the ones who stood alongside of Clarence Thomas when he was going for Superior Court judge against Anita Hill. And he had some awful things about Anita Hill. And Joe Biden said, that was 20, 30 years ago. I did apologize. When is an apology enough? Now, just last year, about a year ago, Whoopi Goldberg misspoke. She was trying to convey that the Holocaust, well, there you go. Be careful with that even. You gotta walk on water. But she was trying to convey that the Holocaust ultimately is an issue of the heart, meaning in order for it to have occurred, the heart had to be hateful. And they all came after her. Maybe she didn't convey it properly, or she misspoke, or she didn't get her point across. Well, it is called The View. She was suspended for that misnomer. And when she came back, I think it was a 2 or 3 day suspension. When she came back, she had to start the show by apologizing yet again. And then she brings out a guest who is a rabbi and specializing in atonement to explain what the Holocaust really was all about. This was too much. She just misspoke. In my opinion, it was too much. The View is not a documentary about any one issue, but they spent all this time. Now, they were probably trying to clean up how she misspoke, but she apologized. When is an apology enough? Monique is still after Tyler Perry and won't stop until she gets an apology, even though he said, I'm not going to. So why are you still going after this? And Oprah, if they were going to apologize, they'd apologize by now. But now Monique, is talking about D.L. Hughley and they're battling. And he went on and he called her a straight up liar. And it just got nasty. It's just unprofessional at this point. It doesn't give us a good light. Now here you are, Monique, and you talk about, what about the babies? What will they see? They're seeing this. What about the culture? We as a people, what about the culture? Do you think this is helping the culture? Anybody not Black ain't even saying a word. And I don't want to get in this. It's too much. And yes, many people are viewing, and I get, again, I did a video, and I'll drop it in the comment box and in the description box, where I said, take the apology as it is or not at all. But you can't force an apology because it's never going to be sufficient. So that apology won't be enough. It's like saying, okay, I'm sorry. And it's flippant. Who wants that? So we have seemed to have confused an apology with retribution, confused an apology with recompense, confused an apology with measures of penalty for that by which you've done. to the person. Confused an apology with remorse. Confused an apology with restitution. Confused an apology with repentance. That person doesn't owe you all that. That person, if you need all that, you got a lawsuit. Go see an attorney. And stop bringing the culture down. This brings the culture down. This is just my words. Got my lion in the back. Dividing kings and queens of comedy. Dividing it. Yes, a lot of it is true. It's the entity of the industry, as I said in my last video. Bad behavior is appropriate in that industry. The whole place is like that. So you have to take slithers. You never get peace in a whole, like on a menu where you order your appetizers and your soup and then your salad and then your entree, then your dessert, where they come in succession like that. It's how you have to expect the whole meal of peace to be served to you. But whenever you demand peace, it comes slower. I'm sorry, we don't owe an atonement. An atonement is through you and your higher source to cleanse and purify your heart. If you did something inappropriate to me, you can apologize. And I would agree with Monique in that an apology has 4 parts. I did a video on that, and I'll upload that in the description box, where my dad taught us as little kids. Apology has 4 parts. I'm sorry for what it is I did. It won't happen again. Will you forgive me? That's an apology. So let me demonstrate that. I remember when we were all sitting down, and I was hot as a chili pepper. I was spicy. And I was upset that my sister wore my red sweater. I talk about it. I don't know. Maybe it happened. Maybe something. I can't get it out of my head. But I went charging after her. And my dad said to me, look at you. You know she's 3 years older than you. She gonna knock you across the head. And I said, I don't care. Oh my God. It was like the little Indian chief. It was just coming out. How dare you? I went after her. And my father told my sister, apologize to her. And she said, I'm sorry. And that made me even madder. And I reached for her. My dad said, no, you don't. No. Well, let's talk about what apology is. And he went over with all of us at the time. He said, in order to give an apology, this is how this red sweater situation should have gone. Genuinely from your heart. Don't be flippant. Like she was, I'm sorry. Girl, please. Don't be flippant. So it should go like this. Sheri, I'm really very sorry that I wore your red sweater. Okay, I'm really, really very sorry that I wore your red sweater without your permission and I ripped it a little bit. It will never, ever, ever happen again. I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? You see that? And I go, yeah, forgive me. Please make sure you don't do it again. She go, okay. And my dad said, okay, now hug each other. And we hug. Where I was ready to get in there. And we ended up hugging. And it was over. That's what an apology is. But you can't it has 4 parts. You need to be the accountability piece, what you did. Monique is right. That needs to be in there. What you did, how that hurt that person, and that you won't do it again. Now, once that's done, the forgiveness is on the other person. You don't owe anything. The forgiveness is on the other person. And if they decide not to forgive, that's on them in their heart. Let a higher source deal with them in their heart, but you're free. You're free. This is why Monique doesn't go charging after Lee Daniels so much anymore. He at least apologized and in a way that was accepting to her. Now, just over the past day or two, she had yet another complaint. So she's on this comedy complaint mission right now. It's just in crisis. She had a complaint about Charlemagne the God, who called her a donkey. You know, they have this portion on the Breakfast Club that said donkey of the day, like something ignorant, stupid you did, is donkey of the day. And this was a year ago, I think. He was saying that she had some audacity to ask for the same salary, or that she was complaining about the same salary of Amy Schumer, and that the difference is because Amy's white and she's black and all of this. And so he called her the donkey of the day. She took offense to that. Well, first of all, it's just a part of their crazy little show. It's not personal. But as a comedian, I would think you'd have the thickest of all skin, first of all. Secondly, a year later to still be talking about it. So she's coming across to me as a person who stews, collects insults, and stew on them. So here's Charlemagne the God. Because she made mention on Shannon Sharp's show and all these millions of people, and he wants to protect his own image, I'm sure. He goes into an apology that lasts 10 minutes long. Because Envy, his partner, but Envy was being joking. But the other co-host, whose name I can't recall at this time, that's not good enough. Yeah, you need to apologize. No, what have you to do with this? When a person is apologizing, you have nothing to do with this, even though it is lighthearted. They had him apologize over and over again. And guess what? He did it. He didn't want the drama. Better than me, because I would have said, no, you're out of lane. What have you to do with this? Please don't interfere. I'm really wanting to give her a genuine apology. Don't do this to me. Oh, we're live on the air. Don't do this to me. And when we got off the air, the conversation would continue with a little bit more boiling points for me. How dare you do this while we're on the air? Don't you ever do it again. You see the energy? This is what I mean about the line. So, we have to remember that forgiveness comes from the person to whom you've done the hurt. But you first have to have the power within yourself to even apologize. Because I also agree with her. If you don't apologize, you could easily do it again, because the apology is what makes it not happen again. So now I'm talking about life in general, not just these kings and queens that are collision of comedy. I'm talking about life in general. If you have misdeeded a person, made them feel devalued, disrespected, uncared for by some issue that you vetted out to them, you owe them an apology. And you should give it, saying, I'm sorry for what it is that I did. It won't happen again. Do you forgive? That's it. And find peace by that. Because even where it says peace warrior, the word war is right there. Or you could be a worrier about it. Because one thing about it, and Charlemagne has said too in his apology, is people without peace will make sure you don't have peace either. It's the same thing as hurt people hurt people. This is why when I see a person who's damaged, like I call that damaged dark soul, that is what gives them the ability to ghost you. That is what gives them the ability to go negative on you. That is what gives them the ability to be vicious with you, meaning disrespectful and dishonoring. because they have no peace within. There is a strong lack for what there is a strong lack of love. There's a strong lack of desire. There's a strong lack of unfulfilled hopes, unfulfilled dreams. There is a lack of something so deep within them that peace evades them. Probably broken sleep at night, probably missed schedules at work, probably drinking and overdrinking, probably all of this to masquerade what it is, when all they need to do is fix their broken relationship. So do that. And I just hope that we get to the place. It's important. This age of truth is important. I'm not knocking it. I'm not. I'm glad we're having these conversations. I just don't like how it looks on the culture. I just don't. Because one thing, like I said earlier, that I have learned very clearly, sometimes I go, was I that naive? Was I that, everything is so, was I that everything is so flowery? No, I was not. I'm realizing I was just living life from a good-hearted place and thought everybody else was too. So I wasn't naive. I just looked for the good in people. And Lord knows sometimes I wait too long to try and find it. Except that time it just never comes, but I'm still gonna try. Still gonna try. But the point I'm making is sometimes in offering peace, and we are battling in public, society who are not us thinks that's how we are because they never got to know us. They don't know us. They have a media image of us, and this is just more of it. A media image that we're combative, and that's showing that. A media image that we're argumentative, and that's showing that. A media image that we don't get along with others, and that's showing. A media image that we're demanding. All of this, I don't like the negativization of my people. So Lion King, Lion Queen, I know you don't want to let go of that ego and be the first one to call. I ain't calling her first. Whether I'm talking about you or the kings and queens that call me, whatever, I don't want to, because that looks like weakness if I call you first. But really, you just want up the game by calling. You just won up the game because guess what you did? You opened that line of communication. And who knows what can come once you do that. So do that. Okay? And I love you. If you've gotten this far, please click subscribe. Let's pray for some peace. And I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all. Click subscribe. Bring a friend with you next time. Bye.